Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Cannibiss Life Radio. Welcome to Florida's only cannabis radio program. Welcome to Cannibiss Life Radio.
I hear something.
I think it's a little.
Come on out here.
All it is a little rust, man.
Yeah, it's a little rust. Let me shake it off.
You got to shake it off. Shake it off.
I still can't hear anything.
I think you're still in Thanksgiving, actually.
Yeah, Halloween. Welcome to Cannibiss Life Radio. Florida's only cannabis radio program is now worldwide.
Woo! Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Which sounds like takeover.
Yeah.
Step Brothers.
Yeah, I'm Leon Hamilton along with R.B. Barroso and Cheryl Murray, pal. I'll be okay.
Our names haven't changed since season 2.
No. Let me try it. Let me try it again. I'm Leon Hamilton along with Cheryl Murray, pal, and R.B. Barroso.
Thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Thank
better.
you.
Got your name right. That's the first step.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
And this is Leon, right?
Yeah, I got mine.
And Hamilton.
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
And
we're
I've missed Leon Hamilton this whole
Thank you.
time. We haven't seen much of each other. What have you been up to?
I haven't been doing anything. In fact, I happened to be walking down Dixie Highway and saw you guys.
Somebody picked you up?
Yeah.
Somebody just
So I
picked
just
you up,
came in.
We've
thought
been
maybe
doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I
but
saw you on
for
Facebook.
some reason, Leon.
You're everywhere. There's like camera crews following you all around.
I mean, look at all the
this
paparazzis
is
we have right here
ridiculous.
right now at this point. It's
You
all
are-
because of you.
You
Yeah,
could
it's
have
because of me.
been with us, though.
Well, that's because I'm like the Howard Hughes of the cannabis industry. I'm like locked up in my house, and I'm like,
Are you medicating?
look, there's Arby.
Did you take your medication
He's
this
in
morning?
Denver.
Howard Hughes, is that the guy that movie, The Rules Don't Apply, was
Yeah,
about
he
his
went-
life?
he went a
He was
little nutty.
crazy.
He
He had
went-
like
he
a
went a little
secret
nutty.
son and stuff.
Yeah.
So are
So
you
what's
are
going
you
on?
really the Howard
Why
Hughes?
are you guys interviewing me? It's supposed to be the other way around.
Because we see each other constantly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's you as our like.
Yeah,
you're the
you've been
ghost.
an anomaly. You've been Casper.
Yeah, so that's me, Casper the Friendly Ghost.
So what's going on, Cheryl? How have you?
Oh
been?
my gosh, cannabis is
How was
booming.
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving,
How
okay, Thanksgiving was fantastic. Got to spend some time with Judah, my son, in at Universal Studios. So we were going park hopping. It was amazing, and I know you were at Parks Thanksgiving.
I
We
think
could have
there.
ran into each other by accident.
We probably did. There was
I-
just
if-
a lot of people there.
If I could replicate my mom's fingerprint and get into Disney using her pass,
I
then
was
we.
pissed. I was not happy about that.
Nice.
I totally forgot that you had to put your
Yeah,
fingerprint when
we
you walk
don't-
into Disney World.
We
I
like
mean,
being incognito.
Well, there's no incognito anymore.
Nope.
It's gone.
Yep, your DNA.
And you're on the radio, so it's even worse.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Now you're superstars.
Yeah.
We
well,
don't do
worldwide.
ancestry searches because we're
No,
not sending our
absolutely
DNA
not.
anywhere. So.
We got a conspiracy theory against that.
Absolutely, but yeah, Thanksgiving was fantastic. I got to eat with my friend, one of my best friends from junior high school, and her mom and my mom went to school in Jamaica. So with her family for Thanksgiving, Michelle. So shout out to Michelle. I think one of our favorite parts because this is the season. For joy and family and fellowship and giving, especially the Green Roads Way, is when we had our turkey giveaway. So
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. And again, we want to give our condolences. There's quite a few people that have passed during these holidays,
Yep.
and we want to give our condolences to the senator and the House Representative,
Representative Jones lost
Representative
his brother.
Jones, and Rusan that lost his son.
Commissioner Dale Holness lost his son.
Lost
Yep.
his son. So,
So-
we want to just give our condolences to that and get to the season. And now we know it is Christmas and it is Hanukkah, and there's a lot of things to celebrate. But we need to celebrate life itself and the enjoyment of everything that's going on. Even the show and the
Yes.
awards that we went to, we saw the difference of where the business and the industry's gone from in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Chloe Villano has been throwing the Cannibiss Awards. Today, this was the 5th annual Cannibiss Award. We
Yes.
actually went out there, shot shot some film, and really got to meet a lot of the people that are really behind the scenes, that have really been pushing this movement. It's not the typical, stoner sit in the corner or just blazing downstairs playing video games.
It's not.
It's really it's coming down to really being a medicine.
We ran through Colorado.
It was like a day and a half. It was
we
like
ran
nonstop.
through Denver.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It's a quick trip.
It was
It wasn't
in,
a quick
out.
trip. How many days were we there?
2.
We were gosh.
And
we
then I
were
went
there
to
for 2
London
days.
for 2 days.
Right. Yes. It was madness. But
I went to Boynton for one day.
That works.
you left your zip code without taking me,
Yeah, I
though.
went to Boynton.
I make it fun.
Big traveler.
So, Cannabis Business Awards. First of all, God bless Jessica Barroso.
Well,
Ari's wife.
I'm lucky with
If you haven't met
She
her,
obviously
she's
has
amazing.
more patience than any human on
God,
earth.
God bless her.
With both of us. So she
Yeah.
arranged for me to get a makeover.
Yeah.
So I had my makeup done, which I've never had like full on makeup like that ever. And it was wonderful. It was a great experience. I want to thank her for allowing me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. I got a lot of compliments on my makeup.
Oh, you're popping.
Thank you. My
You're popping.
eyelashes
You're
were popping. I had lashes and everything.
popping.
So yes, that was a great experience for me, and I want to thank her for that. We had a lot of our friends were winning awards as well.
What
We had
kind of
we had
awards
3
was it?
winners sitting at our table.
We
What-
did.
Explain.
we did.
Explain. I saw like the general outline of what was going on and some of the awards being presented. But can you go through like some of the awards that were being presented at this ceremony?
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing we have to say is the CBD category. We are running towards that next year.
Yeah.
So that's going to be locked down. So just
I
want to
mean,
make sure everybody get ready.
Forbes doesn't lie.
Yeah, everybody get ready to whatever nomination process there is. We'll give you heads up ahead of time so that you can go ahead and vote for Green Road. So we weren't nominated in any category this year, but we were the media company of the century in our coverage, and we want to thank our TFC team for being out there. We had Jonathan getting from behind the cameras doing interviews.
Oh, they filmed the whole thing. It was absolutely amazing.
So we got a chance to just really kind of relax and not do all the interviews because Jonathan was there, Yoel was there, Jeff was there. At our table, as RB said, we had winners. So Trey Esterel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Shout
what
out to Trey.
Some kind of awards or
Well, Trey, it's like almost like an activist.
It's like the Grammys of cannabis.
Exactly. Like whether it's go ahead.
Candy Grammys.
The Candy Grammys.
Candy
Come on
Grammys?
now, it's Leon.
That's pretty good, Leon.
Thanks.
I actually like that. Yeah. So it's the Candy Grammys.
Candy Grammys.
And it's put on by Chloe Villano.
Yes, and Cloverleaf University.
And Cloverleaf
Okay, I know them.
University. Yeah, so
You know them?
she's awesome.
No.
Yeah, well, we've spoken to her
Yeah,
like, at
that's
least
how I know
twice,
her.
so
Okay.
you do know her.
Right.
And thank you, Chloe, for having us and letting us give great media coverage, bring out our TFC team. So we had Trace Jarrells at our table, and he's basically family, anyways.
Yeah.
And he picked up the athletes for athletes for cannabis.
Yeah, advocate.
Right.
Award. He was nominated himself as an individual for the Advocate of the Year as well, and wasn't successful in that. But he's our Advocate of the Year because he's always speaking in favor of athletes getting involved in the process and decriminalization efforts and legalization efforts.
And getting rid of the stigma. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that we're not going to stop. Obviously, it's going to continue. And those type of awards, when you actually film them and see the people that are actually on stage,
Right.
These are
Gets rid of
business
this,
people. There was a young little girl there that was 11 years old.
Yes.
Trey Jarrell was a big advocate. Rolodex of NFL and college athletes. Chloe, who spent her time actually getting the only certificate of education for a university teaching cannabis. And really works hard at what she's doing. Threw on an amazing show. A lot of people,
Yes.
everybody from across the industries, from CBD to the THC side to marketing to advocates. So it's really cool to see something like that and watch people to come together and get rid of that stigma that this plant continues to have upon itself. When you have alcoholism, you have deaths over opiates, you have all these other things, and when people look at cannabis, nobody's died.
Right.
When people look at CBD, and one of the things we're trying to regulate right now is nobody's died. They just came out. The World Organization just came out and said CBD is healthy for you.
Right.
That it doesn't
World
cause
Health.
no harm. World Health.
Yep.
And it's going to be taken off USADA.
Right.
We've obviously, and our guys have been busy because we did the RIP games that were held out in Davie about 700 competitors. We gave out prizes and stuff like that over there to the athletes because they're starting to recognize that this actually helps them.
Right.
Whether it's a recovery side or now that they're feeling more comfortable that it's off the U.S. anti-doping agency.
Right.
People are starting to understand this a little bit more. It's
Right,
not
it's safe.
where we were last January where people just didn't think, it's just a typical, radio station or a typical video or somebody's just smoking, a
Right.
joint. It's not like that anymore. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are involved and a lot of families that are really pushing forward on this.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to push forward. Florida's always stagnant as usual.
Right.
And we're waiting for the new session to come through. There's a lot of people that are still having events here in Florida, so you can be a part of a lot of new things.
Yeah.
Obviously, the holiday season takes people a lot. People take a break. We've kind of dove into this instead of starting in January because we should have started in November. But the fact is that this doesn't stop. And every day it picks up more steam and more people get involved. And everybody else that you speak to is either investing in cannabis or in marketing or
Right.
something that has to do with this industry.
Yeah.
So employment-wise, it's going to be huge for
Oh my
every
gosh.
state.
Yes.
Educational-wise, jail system that arrests 850,000 people, every year, whether it's possession or something. I just had a friend of mine that just got pulled over with an ounce the other day, got taken to jail for an ounce. It wasn't broken down in baggies. He basically had it on him.
Personal use.
Personal
He
use.
wasn't smoking in the car.
Wasn't smoking in the car and
Just carrying it.
carrying it on him, and they took him to jail. So, I mean, really, it's like picking up a 6-pack or a 12-pack at 7-Eleven
Right.
and walking home with it.
Less harmful.
Right.
And you're getting to take to jail for something that's more
Well,
natural.
and that's what it makes it more important to erase that line between medical and medical and recreational. And I've learned so much in the past year plus that I've been in the industry. When I first got out, I was like, yeah, medical's this and recreational's that. But when it comes down to it, recreational users are medicating, and a lot of them are not wanting to sign registry because it's not anonymous and you're giving up your personal details. And that's a right. Who wants to be on a list because they have a medical concern?
Imagine having
issue?
a list for everybody that walks into the store to buy a bottle of liquor.
Right.
Hey, let me go register to go buy a
Right.
bottle
We
of
go
Johnny
check
Walker.
the registry.
Yeah,
to
let
see
me
if
make
you're
sure
allowed to
you're
buy
in
this.
here. I mean,
Right.
it's ridiculous, it's something that we're very passionate about, as you know,
Yeah.
and we'll continue to push. I don't medicate much myself, if at all, but I got to keep all what I have left in my brain at 47 at this point. So I'm lucky to be
Looking
blessed
good
to
for
be
47.
Here.
Hey,
Thank you,
I did want to ask you though.
Yeah.
Was there an award at this Cannibiss Award ceremony for best radio show?
Yeah, they actually named you. We just forgot to call you.
Yeah, actually, you would have been on there.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to
Forgot to call
insert
me.
that
Story
so
of
that we
my
can
life.
just clean house
Actually, here,
next
look,
year.
I just
No, but
got
is
a
it-
text from Chloe right now.
but
She's probably watching.
Is there
Back
really
from-
a radio show? Category?
There wasn't one actually.
No,
we
there's
need
we
to,
should-
So that's the text you're sending back to Chloe.
Actually,
You
right
gotta-
now.
Yeah, we need to have some kind of media
literally-
program, TV program, because there's a couple of people that have TV shows,
Yeah.
and we could do the radio new media type thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And, we were talking about the winners at our table. We also had Tizzy from Leafly sitting there, and she
Yes.
is lovely. That was like pure joy to have her join our table. She kind of came in solo, and we were like, oh, you're part of our family. And she was just such a great person. I know she has connected with our TSE marketing team, and they've been having this ongoing discussion. So, I just love when different parts of the industry come together. We're clearly all in the media industry. Leafly's more of a publication side, and then we do the radio as
Right.
well. But the fact that, joining forces in some way, that is just so powerful, and especially when you have good people, just nice people who you want to hang out with and
Exactly.
be friends with
Yep.
in the industry, that's always nice to see as well. And then you were talking about Alexis, who's the named plaintiff in the Jeff Sessions lawsuit at 11 years old. Just speaking to her, she is so wise beyond her years. She is a business owner. She works with different organizations as far as CBD and things like that. So she hosts a grow as well at the age of 11. But she's brilliant, bright. She's going to go on to do good things. She is very brave, and she accepts the fact that there may be penalties for her advocacy and activism. So I just
Right.
want to shout her out as well. And
Dr. Uma also.
Dr. Uma, yes, Dr. Uma.
I mean, again, I'm fantasized with her, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Harvey
say that
loves
live
Dr.
on TV.
Uma.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
you don't
matter.
care.
I don't really care.
Yeah,
We all love Dr. Uma, and she's fantastic, and she deserves her.
She's so
she won the
energetic.
education
It's so
award.
It's so amazing how energetic and like no matter where we catch her, whether we catch her in Jamaica and Colorado,
Absolutely.
anywhere we go, she's so passionate
fire.
about. She's fire.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
fire. And I always remember her saying, educate, embrace, empower. That is signature Dr. Uma, and everywhere she goes, she takes that with her. So, and also, like, there are a few things, I quote her all the time. There's the educate, embrace, empower. There's the cannabis makes you remember, and cannabis makes you forget. So, if you have cognitive issues, it'll help you remember, especially for aging
Right.
individuals and things like that. But if you have trauma, it'll make you forget.
some
And
of
then
the
I
traumatic.
learned that
Yep.
from Dr. Uma as
Yeah.
well. And then she is one of the first person I've heard to say, cannabis is an exit drug, not a gateway drug. So those are the things that I reference Dr. Uma as having said, and I use them all the time. So
Yeah.
she is such a gift to the industry. So who else? Oh, Josh Crosney was out there.
Josh Crosney was out there.
And
He was
won an
pimping.
award. Yeah,
Yes, he did.
He won an advocacy award as well. So he was out there looking fantastic, talking to everyone and just lifting spirits. Stormy was there. I'm trying to think who else we saw who was in the industry. And Stormy, I mean, you got to recognize she left Overstock.com,
Yeah.
an executive at Overstock.com, to embrace the cannabis industry, and she's done such amazing work within cannabis. So, oh my gosh, my role model, the
I was
first
waiting.
role
I was waiting for that one.
She's glowing.
Wanda James was there, and I've been following her for a long time, but I haven't had the chance to actually meet her. And she was such a warm, pleasant spirit and encouraging and such a nice person. And we were trying to connect the next day, but her schedule was already really busy. But just upon meeting me, she embraced me, and we talked about cannabis, and she got the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
So that's pretty
important.
significant. And, she's first woman of color to really get in the dispensary space, and
Right.
and she's led the way and opened doors for people like myself, people like Roz McCarthy from Minorities for Medical Marijuana, Bone Money, and others. So I give her all the praise, and I was really humbled to meet her. We had Estro Hayes was out there. We had Kaylee from Estro Hayes, and she was there early with us and hung out a bit, hung out with Yoel and Trey and I, and she was in, she did the Canopy program, where you move your entire life to Colorado as an immersion program, and they give you seed money for your business. So
Wow.
she did that.
pretty cool.
Those are
crazy.
people who are committed.
Yeah,
like to just
definitely.
leave everything. And she, coming from New York, she was a executive or a writer editor, I believe, for Black Enterprise Magazine, which is a huge publication.
Right.
And she left that to join cannabis. So, cannabis is the truth. Cannabis is freedom.
Yeah.
And people have sacrificed and given up a
lot.
lot
Yes.
to be in this industry.
Yes.
It's appealing. I get calls every single week. I was just on a call last night at about 9 o'clock with someone who wants to be in the cannabis industry,
Yeah.
wants to grow hemp in one state and marijuana in this state. And, there's that exuberance and excitement. But when you think about the cost and the sacrifice that
Right.
it takes to really be in this industry and be committed and see it all the way through, Arby always talks about 90% of cannabis companies fail because
Yeah.
people don't
Yeah.
go in with their eyes wide open.
No, they're always thinking about the money, and that's and that's a shout out to all our guys. Again, I was just before we even started the show, the group of people that we've associated ourselves with believe in a bigger cause and believe in a bigger a bigger vision.
Right.
At the end, and that's starting with my partner, my close partner in the business is with Danny Perdek, and the president of my sales, and a partner in Green Roads, and then obviously Laura making the products, and then just the whole clan from John to Hassan to Becker to all these guys. Becker was actually on the show in this studio a couple months ago, so these are the type of things that they take upon themselves and continue to push these needles forward and really believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
The money's an aspect that's something that will come, but
Yeah, that
typically
comes later.
the people that you speak to, that the first thing that comes out of their mouth is money,
Right.
then those
you know.
you could see literally typically that they're going to fail,
Right.
because they're not going to know what obstacles to get around and what hurdles they're going to run into that is going to stop them right in their tracks, and they're going to freak out because
Yeah.
they got a couple $1 million involved, and then
Right.
next thing you know, they're like panicking.
Yeah.
So if you're in it for the wrong reasons and you're not willing to sacrifice from driving, $100,000 car to driving a $30,000 car, and really sticking your time and efforts on social media and really, believing and preaching what we do every day,
Right.
which is typically you'll catch the same pitch, the same thing that we do every day. Sometimes it gets redundant, it gets boring. Sometimes there's just not a lot of movement. But the fact is that we got to continue to lay those tracks down for others to get involved and be part of it.
Yeah.
Our social media guys started off with 3. Jeff's in the back. Jonathan's here. These guys started off with 3. They're 20 deep.
There's like
Right
a
now.
crowd of people back there
But they
trying
started
to put
off.
this show together.
They started off with just 3 of them.
Yeah.
Today they're about 20. They
Yeah.
got a new office, but they believed and they sacrificed, they put their time in, hanging out with us in the mornings, flying out with us wherever
Yeah.
we needed to go, a lot of times on their own dime.
Yep.
So, they've believed in what we're trying to do, and that's what actually brings this business and everybody together, is the fact that there's a bigger cause.
Yeah.
And when you get that phone call from a mom or something like that, that this product helped,
Yeah.
and they're off
Makes it
half of their
worthwhile.
medicine, it makes everything worthwhile
Yep.
at the end. So it's not about the dollars. It's really about continuing to believe in what you're doing. And that's why, again, we'll shout out Chloe for that, because
Yeah.
in awards, how much can you really get, off something like
Right.
that? To put that together, to get the, the media, to rent the facilities, to get the groups, to get the awards, to get all that stuff done, it's tired, you get tired.
Yeah.
And there's really not a lot of rewards that you could reap from that.
Yeah.
But, you take the time to do it. And when people deny it and say, don't worry about that, you keep pushing. And
Yeah.
once you get through that wall, people start believing in what you're
Yeah,
doing.
you're pretty smart.
I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
I had
Brilliant.
that all
Every
from
once in a
you.
while.
Thomas, my mentor.
Yeah.
And you were talking about TSC, and Yoel's been able to, been traveling with me and keeping me on track. And we need an intro and we need an outro. And so thank you, Yoel, for putting up with me and going to Alabama with me, which isn't the easiest journey.
Alabama. How
I
was
don't even
that
remember
trip?
what
I even
city
forgot
we
about
were-
that.
Sweet
it's
home
been-
Alabama.
It was Alabama, then.
No, it was crazy. So getting there. So we fly into Georgia and then drive into Alabama. I rented a car, and I had, we'll talk about the Jamaica trip, but Green Roads has a student mentee out of Jamaica at the University of Technology, Rashid Perry. So shout out to Rashid. He's actually at the Ganja Cup today doing some.
I'd rather be there.
Very
I almost
rude.
like literally yesterday
Very
booked a
rude.
ticket to get there tomorrow just for
You would do something like that.
The
is going
tickets were
on?
like $600. I was like, no, that's not reasonable.
What do you mean?
No, it's like all the strains and everything, and
Yeah,
it's
well.
just
It's
exciting.
a little educating, a little medicating, a little education. Education, medicate.
Well, you have to
almost.
judge them. Someone has to judge.
Somebody's
it.
got to be the judge.
Somebody's
So,
doing some
it's just
judging, all right.
raising-
Well, look,
yeah,
look,
raise my
judge the
hand.
shirts. This is the new clothing brand.
Yeah.
As you guys can
Yes,
see.
excellent.
You know,
it's pretty
that's
sweet.
Cannibiss Life clothing brand.
It's
Beautiful.
It's not online just yet, but you can do this while you're watching the show.
Wow.
I
That's pretty
want-
nice.
That is.
I want you to
You
show
like
off
that?
my favorite one. No, I don't like
Which
you
one's your
caressing
favorite?
your breasts.
Which one's your favorite?
When you
one?
caress your breasts, it does not.
This is actually one
bode
of the
well.
one- This one right here is the one.
Yeah, that's the one that I like because it has that. Show the back. Show the
yeah.
back. That's the best.
We
It's
the
the
people.
Constitution on the
The
back.
Constitution,
Yeah.
which
sweet.
was written on hemp paper.
It's on hemp paper. So
Yeah.
bleeding some gold.
Yes.
You need to
Nice.
get that. We'll tell you when you can go on and purchase Cannibiss Life merchandise,
Yeah.
but it is coming, people. We already have it. We just gotta.
We just gotta wear it
We're gonna
first.
strategize
We
and
gotta wear
time
it
it
first.
just right.
Yeah.
Get you salivating for our line, and then we'll say, get on the website and buy it.
Go ahead. Well, we
speaking-
are going to give some away, but
Yeah,
go
you're
ahead.
gonna
Speaking
give
of
some away today?
salivating,
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of salivating, everybody's wondering if Arby's mail sack is still a
wasn't
part of the.
wondering.
Well, people,
I
I
still
know
have 'em
you.
with me.
You are not a big, particular fan of Arby's mail sack. We can tell by watching the videos of our former.
do I
show.
grimace?
I grimace.
Oh, you do not.
I-
Well, it's like, I said it again. If you have a question for Arby, all you have to do is comment on our Facebook Live feed.
Yes.
And ask
Arby
the
has
question.
it up. He's commenting
He's
right
commenting
now.
right now.
Leon, do you have it up?
I am not able to do that because I'm in Facebook jail for another couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, he's in
I'm a
timeout.
bad boy.
He's in timeout.
See,
That's another
With
thing.
Facebook
So
timeout.
You gotta get some
you're
lawyers
Facebook
on that.
timeout.
I need an attorney.
Yeah,
You know anybody?
I know. Right here.
Facebook, we're coming. No.
All right. No, don't say that. Please.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break and reset, okay? We're going to see how this works. You are currently tuned to Cannibiss Life Radio, brought to you by
Green Roads World.
Timeout.
Stop by and check out their organic hemp oil. Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oil, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or delicious ice cream sandwiches. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're the #1 sellers of hemp oil products because our stuff works. Across the state to across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oil to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember. The Hemp Kings.
The Hemp King.
Our Hemp Cream Pain Blaster lotions uses natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our Pain Blaster Hemp Cream has now gone to the extreme.
Extreme?
Extreme!
Extreme!
New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream delivers even more relief, even faster! The best hemp products at the best prices delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com!
TheHempKings.com.
Green Roads World is recognized as one of the world's leading suppliers of CBD products, and Cannibiss Life Radio is giving away Green Roads CBD products every week. To join, just tune in on our Facebook Live broadcast every Saturday morning at 10 and follow the instructions on air and in the comment section. Cannibiss Life Radio is teaming up with Green Roads World to give you free CBD. Good luck from Cannibiss Life Radio and Green Roads World.
Education about medication. This is Cannibiss Life Radio.
Yes, we are.
Oh, you can hear it?
I can hear you.
They can hear me. I can't hear anything.
Voice is such a
It's very soothing. Welcome to Cannibiss Life Radio, Florida's only cannabis radio program. I can't hear a thing.
No,
No,
you're
I'm taking
just
these off
you're
because it's
winging it.
Actually,
You don't
deafening.
need those.
Yes, I do.
I want to see
actually.
those ears. Show me those ears,
My
Leon.
big,
You're
my
shining.
like ears.
You're just shining. See, I had to change shirts.
Yes, we have the.
Now we
Oh,
have-
that's the tax stamp
How did this
shirt.
happen?
Woo, woo,
Another
woo.
wardrobe change?
Yes. Yes.
There you go, the Stamp Act.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like it? All right.
More education.
Salivation, more
Just
salvation.
more. Just,
That's right.
Just a little bit of a tease.
So why don't you explain to everybody what that means?
I don't
Yes.
know. Why don't you tell me what it does mean?
The way that the government, the federal government, figured out a way
We
to
have a little bit of a different opinion on this, but go ahead.
Okay. The way that the federal government figured out a way to get rid of cannabis, which they were trying to get rid of actually hemp, not cannabis. They used cannabis to get rid of hemp.
We're in agreement on that.
Okay. And then they came up with this crazy plan called the Marijuana Tax Act, where there was a stamp that was available to once you paid the tax, but they made the rules and the loopholes that you had to jump through to get the stamp and stamp your approval to grow and sell cannabis so difficult that nobody could ever do it.
So they closed the loop.
So they closed it. Yes.
And today we're fighting for it.
And
we're
today we
still
want to
fighting for
it.
Am I right?
You are,
We're
but you
still-
left
yeah.
a lot of this stuff out. The
I
fact
like
is
the
that it
Reader's
was, it
Digest
was
versions
1930s.
of things.
You know, if you kind of
Cliff
read
notes.
the Cliff Notes from the 1930s, you'll see the same thing that they had in the 1930s come out. in the 2015, 2016 that, that this helps with certain ailments. And it's been in our livelihood, and it's been in our we've eaten it, fed it to animals for thousands of years, and now you take it out a couple of life cycles of generations, and now you see the raise in autism and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and cancers through the freaking roof. I mean, when I was growing up, one person, our family would go to a funeral, God forbid. Today, I have friends, 3 or 4 people that I know already that are passed this year of cancer, and they're younger than 50 years old. That didn't happen before. There's something going on. I don't care what it is, whether it's the food, whether it's the nutrition that we're eating, whether it's our endocannabinoid system is deficient. Whatever it is, it's a cluster of a bunch of bad things that are causing people to die at an earlier age. For the first time since 1993, you're actually your life expectancy is shorter than it was back then. That's due to the overdoses and the opiates and heroin and everything else. That's an epidemic. That actually we've gone to quite a few seminars, and I've walked out of a couple of them because they blame the people that are addicted to it instead of fixing the problem, which is actually coming from the people that are actually delivering the drugs. Right. So you don't blame and arrest the guy who's shooting up heroin. You go after the dealer that's actually shipping it in. Right. Same crap, basically.
The legal drug dealers.
It's what they've created, and it is what it is. So we have to deal with it and fight with it and keep pushing forward. And we get a lot of the stares, and so once in a while they open the doors, once in a while they just close the doors. And example is where we film and somewhere we go. People don't want to know that this has to do with cannabis, right? Or they wanted it. That this is the problem. We need to speak about the freaking problem to have people understand that. This is not your typical thing. This is not your hippie. This is not your video game kid that's downstairs at his mom's house, smoking a bowl or something like that. That this is bigger than that. Right. God bless them. Let them continue to do that. That's their choice. Just like if you're having a shot of, tequila, whatever else you want to have, that's your choice. Yeah. But the fact is that there's medicine involved in this plant. Yeah. And Big Pharma doesn't want it. There's been a lot of articles and things that have come out in the last month and a half. We had an article come out on Green Roads that wasn't us. It was another company, but they sent us the letter. So that cost us a lot of money with our attorneys. Right. And it had nothing to do with our company. But just because they had used our name, we had to send them a cease and desist and the whole 9 yards. But they couldn't figure it out that they sent it to us. If we didn't have the capabilities that we have today, a letter like that could have taken us out. Right. Right. All day long, it could have just let us out all day. The fact is that we're blessed to have the group of people that we're surrounded by and the finances to be able to fight or at least respond to some type of claim or something like that that's brought out. Well, and imagine all the other people that have gone through city codes, variances, all the money that they've invested. So what do? The real growers are underground. Yeah. The real people that are really been in this business for a long time, you don't see them. Nobody sees them. Because they don't want to be another number in a computer inside a database with, DOJ overlooking their grow or their strain. Those guys, it's like a surgeon, they're very artistic. It's really hard to grow this type of plant. Right. Whether it's the hemp side,
computer nerds.
It's incredible. It's really incredible.
It's absolutely it's very sophisticated, and people are like, oh, okay, and it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say earlier in our conversation, you can YouTube how to put on makeup, you can YouTube how to make a cake, but you cannot YouTube how to grow marijuana. You cannot YouTube how to get into the cannabis industry.
It takes years.
It doesn't work that way, and people think they can just read a few articles, go on YouTube, and they're like, all right, I'm an expert now. I got the money, and it doesn't work that way. You really need to get the right experts around you to do it right and have the right heart for it and the patience to see it all the way through and participate in the advocacy and support the people who've been in the trenches, allowing you this opportunity.
Absolutely. There's people that have been before us, that have continued to push, whether it's, Regulate Florida. I see Josh Crosney just joined right now. Thanks, Josh, for joining us. on Facebook, you know, all kinds of different groups that have been pushing for years.
Normal.
Right.
Normal's been pushing for years. They actually received an award.
Yes, they did.
At,
They did.
at the Cannibiss Awards, Business Awards. So, I mean, there's so many people that have really dedicated their time, their money, and their efforts. And there's a lot of people that have, you know, bowed out. You know, and I'll be the first one not, you know, to tell you, it's difficult to be in that industry.
Yeah.
You really got to dedicate your full time and effort into it. It's not, I'm going to go fly out there and have something, you know, wherever it's legal or recreational or medical, and go and start something. You know, and there's people here that have already started, that have put their time and effort. I met and we saw Chris Martinez's, which is shout out to Chris. We had actually met at an event. Yep. We walked his lab. Amazing job.
Yeah, Evio Labs have done
Labs.
a fantastic job. They're really setting the
Definitely.
standard for not only Florida, but the country as far as making sure that we're protecting public safety.
It's amazing. I mean, you walk through there and it's professional, full-blown lab, clean, you know, clean rooms, the paint, everything. In the facility,
antimicrobial paint.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
antimicrobial paint. I mean, they've really
because
they
that's
don't have a lot of
important.
business, but
It's
yeah,
the
and
stuff.
they don't have a lot of business.
Right.
It's not like there, you know, there's 300-400 dispensaries
Right.
down the street that are just sending things in. You know, this takes time now to grow, but they've taken their time and they've been patient and they put an amazing facility together that I walked through that, you know, I hadn't seen one of these facilities in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that's actually really taken the time to really do something like that. And it's not financially beneficial right now for
No,
them.
but it will
You know, but it will be.
And
but
they
they're
want to do the right thing.
Exactly. That's their vision. They want to make sure that if somebody's going to use this as medication, or whether it's smokable, which, you know, the state says that, you know, what medicine can be smoked, I don't think they should tell us how we should
Right.
deliver any type of medicine or how we should live our lives in the first place. But that's besides the point. But making sure that whatever you consume, you know what you're consuming.
Right.
So just like every pill that you take doesn't work for you and Cheryl and everybody that's here the same way, every cannabis or every strain doesn't work specifically the same way for everybody else.
Right.
You know, I like when I do medicate and I am in a regulated state or a free state like Colorado, I would do something like an indica. I don't like sativa. You know, so I know the type of strains that I want, but that's the education that's still missing
Right.
from, you know, the major public. You know, the people that typically medicate understand what they want, but people that don't
The new
need to hear
entrants,
this. The
yeah.
new entrants need to hear this and need to see where they may start, whether it is CBD and they don't want to medicate, but they are medicating with CBD and they are helping your nutritional facts and your endocannabinoid systems and your anxiety and your stress and everything else that professors and scientists and universities are saying that this works for.
Right.
So it's just a big group of people, a big conglomerate. I think there's going to be a lot of people that succeed. I think there's going to be more people that fail, and the people that are in it for the wrong reasons will fail. Typically, 99% of them will fail.
Yeah.
Or they're going to bleed and raise more money and, you know, throw it into the campfire like a lot of these just, you know, nurseries here in Florida are doing. You know, True Leaf is one that stood out. But they've gotten involved. You know,
Yeah.
Kim
Right.
Rivers gotten actually involved with the community and stuff. The rest of the people are kind of laying back and really don't know
Some
how
of
to
them haven't
act.
even planted a plant yet.
They're-
Is that
Right.
correct?
They don't-
That is correct.
it's
There's
really
people
good.
that are holding licenses and have not even planted one
No,
cannabis
open
plant.
Not at
one
all.
location.
And nobody
no
is,
access.
There's
nobody
six nurses-
is
there's 6 more
going
licenses.
after them and
Nothing.
telling them that they have to do this for the good of the people of Florida.
Well, there's legislation that they have to put a certain amount of dispensaries over a certain amount of time, but I think that hasn't passed.
Well, it passed. It was signed into law by the governor, but the Department of Health hasn't released their where the locations. They're going to do some type of mapping and identify
Which is
where the
crap.
25 locations
Right.
can
Well,
be.
they're going
for-
to
so-
decide, you know, who the winners and losers are.
Yeah,
that
and
is
they-
not
yeah,
America.
exactly. And there's, they're on the hot seat. So, Christian Bex has gone up to Tallahassee and had to report. And, Representative or Senator Dana Young, she, basically said that just because you have a lawsuit doesn't mean that you stop doing your job.
Yeah, you don't
and
stop
I'm,
doing
I'm
business.
paraphrasing, but basically that's the gist of it is, other departments get lawsuits all the time, but we still operate kind of
Right.
thing. So,
So he's using that as an excuse for
yeah,
the slow down
absolutely.
of the not only dispensary licenses but the people getting their medical cards.
Exactly.
It's up to 5 or 6 months now, correct?
It is, and now they're going to the position of where they're going to accept when the number is given versus the card is given, because there are so many delays in the cards being given. Amendment 2 has passed, Senate Bill 8A has passed, and we still haven't opened up the licenses, the additional licenses for the application. So there's an application out there. They just haven't said when they can be submitted. The Senate Bill 8A indicated that it would have to be in place, the new dispensaries, or new licenses would have to be in place by October 3rd. That's come and gone, and there's no activity, and then they're blaming lawsuits as the reason why. They have not
And they're
identified.
getting the lawsuits
it's a bunch of
because of the
horsemen.
reason they're slowing. So it's like a vicious circle.
yeah,
They're blaming the lawsuits on the reason
Absolutely.
they're getting the lawsuits.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
basically.
makes perfect sense.
Because there's going to be more if there's inactivity, because it is the Constitution. It is the Florida Constitution, which people voted for. The will of the people has to prevail.
71+%.
Right.
Over 6 million people in Florida voted for this. And I want to shout out to Francisco, tuning in from Costa Rica. We got
Nice.
Switzerland
Hello.
on board.
Whoop.
We had Fred
Hey,
that
guys.
basically said that they needed flour. 1,000% we need flour
Yes.
in this state, because that's the only way that this industry is going to grow in Florida. You can only do so much without the flour. Most of the things that people buy when you go to a gas station, you go buy rolling papers. You go to
Yeah.
7-Elevens, you go buy rolling papers. So flours needs to exist. They need to release that and make sure that everybody has the right to choose whichever way they want to ingest or take this. And hopefully sooner or later regulate Florida. Regulate it like alcohol. Take your taxes in.
How
Let's
far-
build new roads. Let's put new education on board.
Absolutely.
There's so
The
many
school
things that we
system is
need.
dying. We need that.
How
And
close
plus-
are we with Regulate Florida? How are we up against
I'm
the...
not, I think last I heard they had about 50,000 petitions filed, but I don't want to misspeak. We can probably have Karen
Yeah.
Goldstein from Normal and Regulate Florida to come in and speak on that, or one of her members of her team, Will Medina.
Yeah, we should
also,
do that.
We'll
You know
have him talk about it, and then they have to get the Supreme Court review, and then a lot more
Bunch of hoopla, man.
to get him on the ballot. So it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of, people out there petitioning, and they are out every weekend, every
weekend.
day.
I see them everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
gathering petitions. So we definitely need to support their efforts. So that's really important. As far as the, my Alabama trip, we kind of talked about that, touched upon it, but I went for the Professional Agricultural Workers Conference, and that conference has been going on for 75 years. We submitted an abstract as Green Roads for a Green Roads panel, and for the first time in the 75-year history of the Professional Agricultural Workers Conference, there was a panel discussion and a follow-up discussion on cannabis. So we spoke on both days, and then we have coverage. You're going to see some of that footage soon. So that's really a history-making event where, we're going mainstream. So we're not so focused on, being in the, cannabis space only. We're expanding, and that's how you reduce stigma. Like when I, spoke at the National Bar Association, which is the national black bar for the entire United States and Canada, and spoke in Toronto about, hemp, CBD, marijuana. Those are, we're making history, and we're, stretching ourselves to make sure that we get rid of the stigma. And that was a great event for us. I think a lot of minds were changed. A lot of small farmers are now interested in growing hemp. They're now interested in marijuana. They're doing more research. So we're going to continue that type of activism and advocacy as well.
It's crazy. I mean, we got people tuning in from all over the world at this point. We have Germany tuning in right now, a bunch of others. And again, this is something that's bigger than us. And we're just here enjoying a Saturday morning for those who are in California and are 3 hours behind. 7:51 for tuning in. I'm pretty sure Josh Crosney is probably either out there in Colorado. So I know he's not in our time zone, Eastern time zone. So, Gary Stein that is tuning in, and thank you for walking us back
Hey, Gary.
into doing what we do on a Saturday or Sunday. Now will be Saturdays, every Saturday from 10 to 12. You could find us on Facebook at Sea Life Radio, and you could find us on Instagram at rb.sealife. For Cheryl or Leon, you guys could shout out your your Instagram and your Twitter. So people, if they have questions, we love to answer these questions. TFC is always on the ball with all these things and making sure that our consumers, whether it's Green Roads, whether it's even a question, I've seen them on the phone for 45 minutes just talking to people that have questions. It's absolutely it's crazy, and we enjoy it, obviously, and we've created a big family, and we hope to continue to make this bigger and more enjoyable. So stay tuned now. I think we're going to take a break for a minute, Leon, and then we'll be back.
You mentioned CannabisRadio.com. I'm not sure if you did.
Yeah, we got to mention that. Yeah, because we're around the world now.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you should talk about that real
Should
quick.
we?
Arby, take it.
No, I'm going to leave that up to our guys. I mean, they're
You
the
want to have
ones
them come and join us?
Yeah, why didn't one of you guys join
There's
us?
a mic here.
Come here. Why don't one of you guys join us and
This
tell
could
us a
be
little bit
interesting.
about what's going on? Come on, let's go. Let's go.
I don't know. This
Let's
guy's
go live.
This guy's
So
a
this
little
is a
too
really,
laid back.
Yeah, so
He's too laid back.
Over here. Come here.
Come here. He's gonna
so
break
we're
something.
now on iHeart. So let's hear more about it.
Go ahead. Good. Give us a little bit of insight of what's going on. Do we need Jeff? Who's handling
Oh,
this?
for discussing iHeartRadio?
Yeah.
Oh, you're definitely gonna need Jeff. You're definitely gonna need Jeff.
Jeff.
Come, Jeff.
Come here, Jeff.
So
Come
while
here.
Jeff is coming to the stage,
Mr. Jeff
area,
Tate. Mr. Jeff Tate.
Mr. Jeff Tate, who
Calling,
goes
paging
everywhere
Mr.
with
Jeff
us.
Tate. Paging Mr. Jeff
He
Tate.
keeps
Page
me,
him.
He keeps me honest and isn't afraid to challenge me. So I love having him
He's
around.
probably going on 2 days
thank
of
you
wide
so
awake.
much.
But go ahead,
Let's
Jeff.
talk about Cannibiss Radio.
Yeah, Cannibiss Radio. We're super excited for it. We're going to have a lot of viewership. It's going to be such an awesome program. We're going to really get in front of a lot, so much awareness, get in front of our audience. It's going to be super exciting stuff. We're going to be sharing on iHeartRadio as well. We're going to be streaming. We're going to be on an app, doing a podcast. So many things coming up. We're going to be. We just went with the new website on CLifeRadio.com.
Excellent.
That's awesome as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a lot of big things to look forward to. But for now, everyone can stay tuned on the Facebook. We have an exclusive interview coming up today with Dr. Uma. We got that at the Cannabis Business Awards. She was amazing, so
She is.
that was awesome. A lot of good stuff coming up. It's really exciting.
Where's Jonathan today?
Jonathan today actually is on the comments right now. He's responding to he's
Hey,
responding to everyone.
Jonathan.
He's on there. He's listening. He's responding to everyone. He always holds it down for us. All of our pages are sharing the show. Everyone is tuned in, so it's awesome.
So let me ask you a question. What brought you into Green Roads? I mean, obviously, you started with us about 18 months ago.
Yeah, we started like 18 months ago now with you guys, and it's been so incredible. I never would have imagined or pictured what it could possibly turn into. I mean, when we came in the office, I didn't even know what it was. What CBD was, what you guys were doing, what the vision or the mission was, and I really came in and learned about it quickly through you and Danny. I met him first. He told me about it, and then I met you. And Dylan had been talking about you guys he had been telling me for months already, what you guys were doing, how you guys were exploding and blowing up. And then when I came in and really saw, there's a lot of opportunity around, but it's really what we're doing though. I mean, when I saw you guys pushing so hard to really help people and educate them and just, touch families and children, and it's crazy that we can do what we love every day and help people at the same time in such a massive way. I mean, it's so incredible, and that's the opportunity you've given us is, I mean, I think
it goes both. It goes, I mean, everybody here at this table we've all figured out how Cheryl sat down during an interview and said, I'm never leaving. So she never left. Leon actually got us hooked up with the radio station when we first started, which basically was in the garage. And now we've gotten to this point where, you've almost been with us since the beginning. Obviously, on our marketing side, you were the third marketing company that we had hired. The other two were big companies that didn't understand what we were trying to do. And you guys came in and really sacrificed a lot of your time. And I think you guys deserve all the props. I know that you guys have done more and have gone over and beyond on the marketing side because you believe in what we're doing.
It's incredible.
And that's pretty cool to see. And that's what we talk about. Somebody who's young, all these other guys out here are under 30 years old. And to have people like that involved in an industry where everybody thinks you need to be medicated or rolling a joint or smoking a doob or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not all about that. It's about really building the family and moving this forward. So I want to just say thank you for that.
Thank you, man. It's been amazing breaking the stigma. It's incredible.
And plus, they put up with me.
Well, that's
That's
Oh
so
my goodness.
yeah.
Shout out to Leon, by the way. Thursday, check out Cannibiss Life Radio on Thursday.
Wow, what's going
we have
on
an exclusive interview and a day in the life of Leon. It's coming out on Thursday. Stay tuned.
Is that the day in the life of Leon?
That's the day in the life of Leon. It's going to be incredible. Eyes peeled. It's so awesome.
We have a day in the life of Arby coming. I can't wait to see. Are we going to get some Florida Homegrown footage?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you'll see Leon at his day job being very nice to his customers in Florida Homegrown.
Eating ice cream.
Eating ice cream all day.
With my mannequin.
I'm going to get in the comments. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
Jeff Tate, the one and
also
only.
known as Fake Will. We're gonna take
It is the Fake Will.
Yes, Fake Will. We're going to take a break. You are currently tuned to Cannibiss Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
Yes, it is.
You let him have it, and then you're like,
No, I had to sneak it in.
yes, it is.
I had to sneak it in. I had to sneak it in.
Yeah. It was.
Florida Homegrown is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oil, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Homegrown also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or delicious ice cream sandwiches. Florida Homegrown is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're the #1 sellers of hemp oil products because our stuff works. Across the state to across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oil to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember. The Hemp Kings.
The Hemp King.
Our hemp cream pain blaster lotions uses natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our pain blaster hemp cream has now gone to the extreme.
Extreme?
Extreme!
Extreme!
New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream delivers even more relief, even faster! The best hemp products at the best prices delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com!
TheHempKings.com.
Green Roads World is recognized as one of the world's leading suppliers of CBD products, and Cannibiss Life Radio is giving away Green Road CBD products every week. To join, just tune in on our Facebook Live broadcast every Saturday morning at 10 and follow the instructions on air and in the comment section. Cannibiss Life Radio is teaming up with Green Roads World to give you free CBD. Good luck from Cannibiss Life Radio and Green Roads World.
This is the radio show people talk about all week long. This is Cannibiss Life Radio.
Cannibiss Life Radio is on the air.
Well, glad
We don't have music yet. I mean, it is the
totally
first
thrown
time.
off.
Listen, it's the first time back.
Yeah.
You know, we should have been back in November.
Season 3, episode 1.
Season 3, episode 1. You know, it's a little rusty.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't medicate. It's a Saturday instead of a Sunday.
I'm not medicated.
Yeah,
That's the
you
problem.
do. Stop. That is the problem.
Yes.
We have bong problems.
Yes.
The
bong cruise?
Bang cruise.
Bong cruise?
Bong
Oh yeah, I
cruise.
remember the bong cruise.
We have a lot of things going on, and you know, including our clothing line and CBD and everything. And you know, we like to answer some of the questions. We have people from pretty much all over the place tuning in to us, and we have about 3 people who are responding. Jeff is in the back, definitely responding. If you have any questions, definitely tune in. Put it in here on our Facebook, and we'll try to answer the best we can.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're mostly educated in the Florida side. National wise, I think Cheryl could definitely answer pretty much any question. You've been to Washington, quite often.
Yeah, let's talk about Washington. My last DC trip was for like, so when everybody in the whole industry was in Vegas
Partying
for
it up.
MJ Biz,
Partying
partying
it
it up,
up.
I had to say
Somebody
no.
was grinding. Somebody
I
was
wanted
grinding.
to be there, but I got an opportunity to speak at the Agribusiness in the Caribbean conference, and I thought it would be like this big conference. I get there, it's like a closed room, probably 20 people, but like leadership from all the countries in the Caribbean, and just having a brain trust, think tank session on how do we change agriculture in the Caribbean. And a key theme was around hemp, and just being able to introduce that conversation and answer questions and change minds as far as, no, this is going to be a moneymaker. This makes you independent from larger countries like the United States as they make their decisions to cut 90% of the budget to the Caribbean in Congress. What do you do then? Well, you got to return to agriculture. You have rich soil, and you should consider hemp growth. You should consider marijuana growth. Here's how you do it right. These are the people you can partner with. These are the benefits that we've seen. These are the jobs that you can create for your young people. This is how we involve the university. So it was a fantastic discussion. I got to meet people I've admired for a very long time. Dean Dr. Grizzle from UTech in Jamaica. We had some great conversations, and which ended up with a follow-up trip to Jamaica the following week. Dr. Henry Lowe as well. Amazing conversations with him, and he had the first patent for a cannabis-related drug in 1972, which was a sublingual drop for glaucoma. So you got to think back to 1972, having the foresight to use cannabis in making medication. So just being in that circle, it was humbling. Had a trip to Jamaica after that. Got to sit in clinical studies, training, and really understand, the research side of cannabis. Because, the reason why, in talking to Arby, I was kind of pushed to go in that direction is because when we go to these sessions, as Arby said, he, sometimes he has to walk out because it's just straight BS that's being talked. And when we hear from the doctors who are resistant to recommending, they're saying, oh, there's not enough research. So, Arby said, what, we're going to be the ones pushing for research. And I'm glad to be a part of that initiative by Green Road. So we kind of educated ourselves on the clinical studies process, got a chance to go to Jamaica for that, got to spend a lot of good time with Dr. Lowe, who I admire so much, got to meet the principal for the University of West Indies. Dr. Archibald McDonald, Danny from Green Roads, he was with me, so got some good time in with Danny, and he saw Jamaica from a different perspective than his previous trip.
Well, I mean, that's the stigma on its own. When you say you're going to Jamaica, and we're going through customs coming back from Jamaica, it's like, what are you doing there?
Right.
Like, what's none of your damn business,
Right.
So it's
for business.
It's actually for business, and
Right.
they still don't, I don't know, maybe comprehend or understand what's going on. Maybe a lot of law enforcement that we've spoken to in the last 6 months are getting more educated on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Starting to loosen up a little bit.
They're not willing, except for your really hardcore. Let's not go into it too much, but the fact is that some of them might take it overboard. A lot of these cops don't want to waste their time on taking somebody to jail.
The ones
for
that I've
possession.
talked to, none of them do.
It's a waste of their time. They realize that it's, they're getting more educated. Maybe there's somebody in their family is using it now.
Or in Colorado growing, or in Washington growing. A lot of times, when I sat down with, when we did the American Cancer Society jail and bail, I intentionally sat at the table with all the law enforcement, and we were just having discussions.
You do that.
I do it all the time.
She does
We'll
that.
be over there.
and then, they were like, we don't care for the most part, but and then some of them had friends and people in other states that were legally growing, so they had a different mindset, and that's why we go beyond just the cannabis industry events, because we want to kill that stigma.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about coincidence and police officers. Obviously, I've disclosed to myself to the audience, and I've been arrested, and I was arrested for basically I was addicted to opiates.
Yeah.
And the gentleman one of the participating officers that arrested me in 2010 actually came into our warehouse to purchase CBD and start selling it, because now he owns gyms in Davie and Plantation.
Wow.
How
That's
crazy
amazing.
was that? I took a picture with him. It's on my phone. He came in. I saw the name, and I'm like, wait a minute. And yeah, he was one of the officers actually that arrested me during my issues with, you know, pharma drugs.
Right.
And it's crazy now that he's turned around after he retired, and now he's selling CBD.
That says
and he's
a lot.
selling it to his athletes and his gyms, because he has, you know, a couple gyms out in Davie and CrossFits and stuff.
Right.
So I mean, these are the type of things that happen. You know, these are stories that happen not just to me, to, you know, a lot of people. You know, I see a lot of comments here that doctors don't know what to recommend, and it's true. In Florida, doctors really don't know what to recommend.
Oh, man, I
there's
could tell
no
you some
there's no
stories.
guideline on
Right.
what you
None.
could recommend, or how much that person should need, or how much shouldn't they need, because we always want more. So, you know, if I take this much, I'm always going to try to push the envelope for a little
Right.
more. It's the human way. We're human, you know. But the fact is that they don't even know where to start.
No.
No.
And some
You
of
know.
these
A lot of
patients,
it's peer education. Sorry, Leon.
yeah,
Go
some of
ahead.
these patients are going in there and they have no idea. So they're trusting the doctors to be educated
be
on
doctors.
what they need as
Right.
far as CBD content and THC content. And these people are coming into me, you know, and talking to me and showing me what they got. You know, I spent, you know, $500 to get this, and I'm looking at it, and it's literally nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it cost them only $40 to get the actual product, but it costs them, you know, $500
well, it takes
to jump through the hoops to
it's
get
a
to
really long process to get people registered, and that's, you know, one of the problems that we
Right.
have. The other problem we have is that there's really nothing out there that people are willing to spend $1,000 be going to the doctor, getting registered, now getting in a database, going through all that.
Putting on a
They're
government
still
list.
continuing the black market.
Yeah.
You know, the black market's still there. If everybody's growing it, nobody's going to steal from you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if everybody has a plant in their closet, you know, nobody's going to steal, you know, and go in your backyard to steal your plant.
Right.
They
They
continue.
already have them.
They
And
already
we've
have them.
seen it in other states. It's not like this is the first time this
Yeah,
has happened.
Colorado's crime is down. Their
California.
opiate addiction's down.
Yeah.
Everything's down, but they don't want to see that. You know, Midwestern states, Indiana, Kentucky. We're fighting. Not fighting.
Yeah.
We're having discussions with
Yes.
Indiana and Nebraska right now. We'll be flying out on the 29th to
Yes.
Nebraska to almost educate on CBD.
What is
no
okay,
THC
yeah,
at
okay.
all?
So we gotta go here. The Indiana deal. The Indiana
Twice.
Okay. The Indiana what is
The
this?
Attorney General.
Is
The
the
Attorney
person
General
who sent out a letter. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's a legal opinion
Opinion
on
saying-
60 days.
But this was after Nebraska had done it first. The Attorney General of Nebraska.
No, it was the other way around. Indiana
Yeah.
did it first.
Indiana,
then
then
they pulled
Nebraska.
it back.
Yeah.
They pulled it back and said, we're not going to mess with anything that's like industrial, agricultural, CBD,
Right.
as long as there's no THC. And again, he came back out in October and then came out
it
with
again.
that.
Got it.
And
Got
then
it.
Nebraska is on the same boat because they're
Yeah.
pissed off at Colorado. You know, so they're doing searches on cars. Anybody that's crossing state lines
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Colorado to Nebraska. I mean, literally, they have people there waiting.
What a waste of taxpayers' money.
Waiting
What
to
a
take you to
waste.
jail, whether you have a gram or whether you have 10 grams or whether you went there to go get some type of medication
Mm-hmm.
instead of being on pharma. I could go and pick up 186 pills from OxyContin 30s at Walgreens or all these places,
They don't care
but I
about
can't
that.
bring back
Right.
5 grams or 10 grams from Colorado because that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
I want to get off these drugs or off these other
And
things.
we
So-
had warned last season about look at and support the middle of the country.
Oh, it's
The
bad.
middle of the country.
It's bad.
There was GW Pharmaceuticals was sending their lobbyists out there. We saw this coming. There isn't a lot of activism out there.
No.
The groups aren't as prominent. So where there's that space, then these alternative lobbyists are going in, and that's where we're seeing these types of
Yeah.
issues: the miseducation, the
The
misinterpretation.
Missouris, the Ohio's,
Yes.
793 million pills.
Yeah. what in the
793 million Oxycontins were written to people who live in Ohio. That's 20% of their population.
Crazy.
11 million people live there, and they brought out 793 million pills. So I
Well-
could give given 68 Oxycontins to everybody that lives. Knock on their door, leave them a little envelope.
here you go.
And
It's
here
a
you go. Here's
prescription for
60.
addiction, basically.
Yeah.
Prescription for addiction.
And when is their program, Ohio's program, going into effect?
Who knows? I mean, you got Ohio, you got
What do you mean they're-
Missouri.
Their
They-
medical marijuana program.
Oh, I don't know when that's going into
they're-
effect, but I know they're kicking and screaming.
Because I would like
And
to
there
see,
was,
what happens with the epidemic numbers after the medical
Well, I mean,
marijuana
that's
program
years
goes
away.
into
But we're
though.
seeing
I mean,
the-
we're
I thought it was almost ready.
We got Michigan going backwards.
Backwards.
You know, all these states
Giving
are
people a week to apply.
It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense to me. Like they continue to try to push back on this, and we have more people that have voted for it and believe in it across the country. But they continue to feel that they know better.
Right.
I know better, and I know what I should give you, and you should be taking this because I said so.
Right.
This is the type of government that we need to, and stigma that we need to stop, because everybody needs to be educated. It's just not your Republican, your liberals, your Democrats, everybody across the board, because you have naysayers and people that have stigma from all kinds of walks of life, different colors, religions, everything. And the fact is we need to educate.
I was just going to say, the people who can speak up need to speak up, and be these closet users, we need to be vocal if you can afford to be vocal and really combat this thing, because it can be a domino effect and take us back in history. We're going to be, as Arby said, not fighting, but we're going to be the activists and advocates that we always have been, and put our efforts, our travel, time, and our finances behind the efforts to make sure that informed decisions are being made by people who are rule makers, and that's the direction that we're going.
We spend a lot of time, when we look back at this year and the last couple of years, the time that we've put into education and flying and educating a lot of representatives and senators, and whether it's in Tallahassee and Washington and Alabama and Carolina and all these other places, the fact is that the middle of the country is suffering bad, and really a lot of people are not concentrating on that center of the country, that Nebraska, the North Dakota, the South Dakotas, stuff like that, but they are trying to grow hemp.
Right.
But yet they still look at the plant differently. They look at the leaf, and the leaf signifies to them that is marijuana. You're going to get high off of that. And if you don't know the kind of leaf you're looking at, that's the stigma that people are we need to stop it. We need to educate them to stop it, to continue to be in their face, to have people calling their representatives. And we've continued to say that since season 1, is if you need to call your reps, they hate the fact that the phone rings. They don't like when the phone rings. Because they don't have cell phones. They have house phones, which don't exist anymore.
Right.
I think not in our times. Everything's a cell phone nowadays.
Landlines.
So it's a landline that's ringing. Yep. And it's one of the most annoying things to hear when you hear a landline ring and it doesn't stop.
Especially when they put it on hold, and then there's another...
And then you got another 4 or 5
4
of
or 5 lines.
They will pay attention.
Yeah,
I promise you, they will pay attention. They did it in Colorado. It took some time, obviously. There's a lot of things that went wrong, a lot of things that went right. More things went right than went wrong, that's for sure, because their crime is down. People, their opiate addiction is down. All these things are down. Their accidents, their drinking, everything's down.
Right.
They could hide the numbers how they want, but the true numbers are there.
Yeah.
Not including, all the stuff they've been able to put back into education, into their road systems.
Helping the
everything.
homeless.
It's absolutely amazing what they've been able to do with the money. The problem is that we're in Florida and we don't know where most of the money goes. We need to stay on top of that. There should be some type of tax. It should be regulated like alcohol, tax it like alcohol, make the money, and put the money into some types of education.
Right.
And make sure that everybody benefits. We have a medical issue. We have insurance issues. People can't go to the doctors. They're paying $1,000 to go get a card, and they don't even know what the hell they're smoking.
Exactly.
So it gets
Not
a little. It's definitely not flour. And they should have flour, that's for sure. But I get a little passionate about talking about this, because it gets tiring, and you get tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over again. But yet we have 29 children under 18 right now that we're sponsoring. Every month. We're way past 100 families that we're sponsoring at this present time. I don't know, we're in the end, we've sponsored, Great Apes Foundations, we've gone everything across the board, we've gone education, we've gone to Nova, we've talked to United Stance, we've talked, and sometimes it gets tiring, and there's a bunch of other groups, it's just not us, there's a bunch of other groups out there that are doing the same thing. But once in a while you get tired. You get really exhausted, because
your family gets tired too.
And everybody gets tired.
Your kids' grades. We're like, what are you doing, Arby? I'm doing homework.
Sending her pictures of my daughter at 9 o'clock at night doing homework, and I just walked in my door.
After about 2 trips, like 2 or 3 back-to-back trips.
So again, we're not asking for pity. We're asking for attention.
Right.
Pay attention. Make everybody hear you. Whether it's us, whether it's our group, whether it's another group, you don't need much. If you spend 3 or 4 hours a week just making phone calls and standing up for somebody, pick somebody on the internet.
Yeah.
Find somebody that actually has a story, whether it's our company, whether it's Green Roads, whether it's another whoever it is. Find that one person, read their story, and understand, if you don't medicate, why people are medicating. Why they're picking up, selling their houses, moving to Colorado, going to Oregon, going to California.
Canada refugees.
They're just moving all over the place because they're trying to help their child.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to help your child, you're going to do whatever the hell you need to do to make sure you help your child.
Yep.
So these are the things that I tell people that don't medicate. You know, go pick one person, go online, educate yourself. Don't tell me, you know, because a lot of the people that actually give us a hard time, you know, have a bottle or are drinking at a bar. Oh, that's illegal.
Right. Or drinking in front of their kids.
I mean, drinking in front. I mean, you had an issue with Mr. Pigman last year.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Pigman.
Did he ever?
Yes.
Did he ever?
A slight
he had
issue.
a slight issue with the bottle in the car, you know, and that's a representative, and he's a doctor. So now, you know, nothing against him. He got pulled over. People make mistakes. But the fact is that he's a representative that was on a committee that was going to make decisions on cannabis in the state of Florida.
And mocking people who were pro-cannabis. That's the biggest part of the hypocrisy.
Yeah, that's some crap.
Is he is talking about us being stupid. It's the same thing with the Attorney General for the United States telling us we need to be educated. We need to be educated.
Oh, but he forgot real quick when he was being
when he got
interrogated. Yeah, he's just like, I don't remember the question.
I can't recollect. I don't know where I'm at.
To tell you the truth, the other stuff means nothing to me. I want to talk about the cannabis stuff with him, and he's obsessed with making people that are pro-cannabis look like idiots or try to make us sound like idiots. In the process, he sounds like he's from 1965.
Right.
Well, he ended up getting pulled over with a bottle of wine and driving down and swerving. If you look at the video, it's...
I'm not talking about him. Pigman, I'm talking about Sessions.
Oh, well,
you,
I mean,
you do want to talk
they're
to
all
Sessions,
about the same. They're all about the same. I mean,
they're kind of interchangeable, actually.
You could literally put one where the other one's at.
That's true.
I mean, and really,
but I don't
it is what it is.
Fortunately, there are some legislators who are proactive. We're always going to shout them out. We have, we did our turkey giveaway with Representative Al Jaquette. And Senator Bobby Powell. We are always thankful for the efforts that they make as far as giving access to patients and the things they do in their communities. We have Senator Roussan. We supported his district with water after the hurricane because Tampa was hit. For last week, I was with Representative Chevron Jones, or 2 nights ago or so, at his Jingle and Mingle, where he accepts toys, unwrapped toys for veterans' children, and we dropped him off at the VFW post. So. There are a lot of these politicians. We don't want to say we're anti-politicians.
Absolutely not.
There are a lot that we work with.
We just get flustered.
And we support, and they support what we're trying to do. So we wanted to shout them out and also talk about some of the good things that we have been doing. We really, we love veterans. We work with veterans all the time.
I mean, we had the Steve Garrison Sr. interview.
Let's talk about that.
That's serious.
So, I Stand With Garrison was a hashtag. You can continue to use it. Please look on our Cannibiss Life page for the exclusive interview with Steve Garrison from Bill's Nursery. So just to give you a little history on that, Bill's Nursery was an applicant in the first round and unsuccessful for getting a license in Florida. And because, as I mentioned, there was an October 3rd deadline for licenses to be issued, he has his application in hand, ready to go. He has a son. He's a veteran, and he has a son who was a veteran.
His whole family.
They all serve, and he has a son who was a veteran who passed on. And he believes in his heart that his son, if his son wasn't worried about the stigma and didn't have to worry about possibly losing custody of his child, he would have used cannabis and may have, either had a better time before he passed on, or he would still be here.
He died of a large heart. His son served our country, went to Iraq. They had submitted their license for a nursery, 3 years, spent the money, spent the time. And during a hemp event, his son, at 32 years old, on Ambien, obviously drinking, PTSD, all these things that happen to our veterans, and the fear of having a loss of their guns, which they've been carrying since they're 18 years old. 14 years of you carrying something, you're not going to want to give that up. And your right, your First Amendment right to have and bear arms, the fact that they would have had, or two, sorry, my correction. That's on my amendments. I'm medicated already. So.
I know. You'll
but
be
the
all right.
fact is that having all these things, having all these things in place, and then all of a sudden his son passing away at 32.
Right.
I mean, from
he's devastated. Like you could see the emotion in his face, and like, how do you look at someone who served our country, lived a good life, been a farmer for pretty much like 40 years,
ex-police officer from
Atlanta.
Police chief,
and he wants to be involved in the cannabis industry. Why? To save lives, to help people, to keep people from having, dying and losing their loved ones. And because we can't get the bureaucratic process right, he can't do what he wants to do. So we have the exclusive interview. You can see it on our page.
It came out everywhere. Huffington Post, New York Times.
Was it up to like 60,000? At least 60,000 views last week when I checked. So it's probably higher than that now.
And that was all because his son was terrified of losing his rights, losing his benefits from VA, which you would lose your benefits if you get tested. A lot of veterans are taking that choice, and they're making that choice of losing their benefits.
Yeah, they're forced into taking opiates because if they take the opiates, they're automatically registered to take the drug test. And if you take the drug test to make sure you're taking the opiates, they're going to test you for cannabis. And if you take the cannabis, then they're going to take your benefits away. Yeah. So they're locked into taking these opiates. They're killing them.
And we weren't on the air. We were on our hiatus, our break, which wasn't really much of a break.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, I guess hiatus.
We always called it a hiatus.
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 Oh, hiatus.
Ooh, I didn't even look at it like we were on a hiatus, guys. So
wow, you guys are really in.
Thanks,
we're
Leon.
still
we
not
can
in
always
sync.
count on Leon for the cerebral comedy.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
We're still not in sync.
Right.
I'll be sitting over here.
Well, we miss Veterans Day being on the air, so we want to definitely tell all veterans thank you for your service. Yes. We had a great Veterans Day with our TFC marketing team. We started out the week at the VFW Post with Jonathan Black, who is a member of our team. He is selling Green Road CBD for us. We met him in Jamaica. I actually met his wife at FIU Law at an event where they opened up their law practice at FIU Law. And she told me her husband was doing some work in the industry. So when we went to Jamaica, we got a chance to meet him, and we instantly knew that we had to partner, and he's come to our warehouse. So he's a veteran, and he brought us to the VFW Post, and we've talked to them about cannabis and CBD and things like that.
He actually picked up a bunch of free products yesterday for the 8905. VFNs.
Thank God.
So he definitely picked up a bunch of products the other day for the veterans that served our country during Vietnam, and now they're trying to help the veterans that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan and these places that we're at war at. But a lot of these veterans have a lot of pride. Yes. And talking even from Jose Belen. They come back distraught a little bit with, and not figuring what they're going to do. And it's a big shout out to him. I see him, all over social media and really putting his time with him and his wife. And
Mission Zero.
And he's dedicating his time and his life at this point after having a successful business life outside and serving our country. Now, Mission Zero is about saving the 22 veterans that basically commit suicide on a daily basis.
Right.
That's a lot of veterans that actually take their lives every day. And he's, out there talking. He's been with Montel Williams. He's really, really standing behind what he's doing. And a big shout out to him. I didn't want to forget mentioning him since we're talking about veterans.
I think perfect timing, because we were talking about that Veterans Day week, and we actually supported the Mission Zero efforts at True Leave. So True Leave partnered with Mission Zero, and at locations all across the state, they had a welcoming event for veterans where they had, snacks, education. There was a True Vet shirt, which is camouflage. I have one. I will wear it on the show and in the upcoming weeks. So they had the True Vets shirt to raise money for Mission Zero and making sure veterans have what they need. So Jose Belen, his wife Danielle, Robert Roundtree, Ryan Hurley, Maria Hurley from Smart Collective, they're all involved in and engaged in this campaign, which we've confirmed this week that we're going to replicate next year. And we've been asked as Green Roads and Cannibiss Life Radio to be involved and provide coverage for that activity, and we will definitely be there. We started out the week with Jonathan Black at the VFW Post. Laura came in as the
That's
pharmacist.
a rare.
She's not a fan of speaking publicly.
No. That is a rare occurrence. So I hope they enjoyed that.
Yes.
Because she doesn't come out of the laboratory much, but when she does, she's a very powerful woman. I call her my commander-in-chief.
Absolutely.
Because she's created the product that we've been blessed to be able to provide and sell,
Yes.
and then also sponsor. We've reached with our sales guys. Actually, we were talking about Andrew Becker a little while ago with Don, that actually interviewed or had Andrew Becker on the show here where we're at live right now, and just to have the opportunity for her to make that type of product and really. It took her 3 years, 2.5 years to really get it down to a science. And after that, it kind of exploded. And we've been able to, penetrate over 5,000, smoke shop, head shops, 1,100 doctors. And now our guys are going to the health food stores. And we had a huge chain.
Huge win yesterday.
A huge win yesterday with a big chain that really cares about where the health is at. And once you start getting into that side, you start educating more of the public,
Right.
more of the health fanatic that thinks that cannabis smoking is not good for you or something, or CBD or something might trigger them looking it up.
Right.
And a lot of our customers have never been, have never medicated before. And that's pretty cool when, now they're on CBD, whether they're 90 years old, 93 years old, that's my dad who's 93, or even in the younger generations, we have a lot of younger generations that don't medicate. They think that this is going to hurt the younger generation, but yet we have 20 guys that and young ladies that are marketing our product every day that maybe 10% of them medicate. That's
Right.
the reason why we're in the CBD business,
Yeah.
is because 10% of the population will medicate. God bless. That's what you want to do, including, my own personal wife, But
Medicate with, you're saying marijuana.
yeah, medicate with marijuana. So, but not everybody wants to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so then the rest of the population.
The 90% of the population will consume this and should consume it. The
Yeah.
whole 100%
The
of the
90%
population.
of the population would be great candidates for CBD for overall
1,000%.
wellness and to deal with ailments.
1,000%. All you need to do is make sure to study the company that you're taking. That's
Absolutely.
all I ask. Whether it's Green Roads, World.com, whether it's any of our products or anybody else's.
Yeah, there's
make
some
sure,
shady people.
Oh,
What?
increasingly
it's
shady.
getting worse by the week.
Yeah.
So that's why Chris Martinez in the lab, we're starting to send products to that laboratory. We left them with some of the products, the raw CBD. We want to give
Yes.
them as much products that are out in the public, in stores, to make sure that we test it. And make sure that if somebody's going to consume this type of product, that you got the pesticides, the metals, the solvents, all these other things that can
Yeah.
cause harm, and that could really affect a child, including we had a child that I won't name that basically has been very successful with our product, but started taking a little THC because the mom, figured, and the father. And when we tested the product, the lead was through the roof.
Wow.
Lead through the roof, arsenic, all kinds of different things that were in that oil. And as soon as you look at it, you could tell, because we've been in the business long enough to kind of recognize it. But it was scary. 34, 35 days seizure free today since they stopped that.
Absolutely.
Because the chemical is going to affect the body differently. And those are the comments that we're getting right now on certain people that are mentioning, hey, I like medicating with this, or I like medicating with that, or maybe in the morning I need some sativa,
Right.
which is like coffee.
Right.
To a lot of people, that's like coffee. A lot of people don't understand it. I'm one not to understand it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that I've done that in the morning and feel that I could function.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people that do it in the morning and function better. Leon. Function better than they do, without it.
And that takes us back to the dosing conversation we were just having. When you guys were talking about dosing, it's so individualized.
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
so based on like you as a person. And that's why, start low, go slow with CBD and with medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, and then you'll find that sweet spot along with your physician. So, Leon, I think I cut you off, or
no? I just accidentally hit the microphone.
He does that once in a while.
Yeah, but we are we're pro-testing. We are advocates for testing. Public safety is so critical and important. Yeah. Every time I speak, and I introduce people to CBD and hemp and things like that, I say, listen, I can only speak to Green Road's product because that's what I know. I'm in their warehouse a few days a week. I see their test results. I know when they send stuff out to test.
A few days a week, for sure.
So with that said, and I appreciate the invitation and the welcome.
Always.
With that said, I can only speak to Green Road because I know what's in their product.
Right.
So as a consumer, you have to know what's in your product, especially if you're treating yourself as a sick person, especially if you're treating a sick child. When you're treating a sick child, please reach out to these labs. They will test your product. And that's really important. So we don't, we're not irresponsibly saying, hey, we're in the cannabis industry, use it. No, we balance that conversation with, we want you to make sure you get the purest stuff possible without the lead, without the solvents, without the mites, without the mold. Nothing that's going to make your child sicker.
Right.
Yeah, and we need to, that's one of the most, if not the most important thing that's involved. That is the least amount of financial gain that you could have. That's why a big shout out to Chris on that. Michael J. McKenzie announcing now on our Facebook, Tel Aviv 2018 Canatech Global.
Nice.
Way ahead of us in reference to
Israel,
how educated we are compared to what they are.
Right.
They're way more advanced than we are, and it's going to be a great event for somebody to attend that because the education is through the roof. And really everybody needs to either be part of it, watch it, read it, so they can understand why we're on the radio or on iHeart or on anywhere we're at when we're talking and what we're talking about.
We're everywhere.
Well, you're everywhere.
That's true.
You're everywhere.
Hey, we got to take a break here, but when we come back, I want to talk about scromiting.
What, a hooter?
Oh, he what?
Scromiting.
Hooter?
Okay.
Not Hooters.
Hooter? I didn't say Hooters.
You don't know what scromiting is? I'll explain it to you.
Please tell us more.
I graduated kindergarten.
It's very,
very
important.
We want to shout out to our temporary location and Don and Freddie for providing.
I don't know if we could do that.
Well, Don and Freddie.
Don and Freddie.
Yeah, you're
for providing us
definitely
our
Don
temporary
and Freddie
location.
for sure. Thank you, Don and Freddie.
Nothing else.
See, we had
Time out. As we announced, we are moving to our new studios where it's still being built and renovated.
Shout out DJ Irie out there.
Exactly. The DJ Irie Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, we will be broadcasting there, but we are very happy to be here.
Absolutely.
And we
this place
appreciate
is beautiful. I love to be able to mention it. But I can't.
No.
We're in our top secret location,
That's
our
right.
Cannibiss cave.
That cave.
Underground. We're underground.
It's our blunt cave. Hey, we're going to take a break.
We're in hiatus.
We're going to take a break. You are currently tuned to Cannibiss Life Radio, brought to you by Green Roads World.
I'll let you have it.
Florida Home Grow is the state's #1 seller of hemp oil products. Stop by and check out their organic hemp oil, capsules, and pain-killing topical lotions. Enjoy a complimentary cup of fresh organic coffee when checking out our beautiful showroom. Florida Home Grow also carries unique hemp items like jewelry, soaps, clothing, and accessories. Don't forget to try refreshing natural lemonade or delicious ice cream sandwiches. Florida Home Grow is conveniently located on Lake Worth Road between Jog and the Turnpike. We're the #1 sellers of hemp oil products because our stuff works. Across the state to across the country, the Hemp Kings is your online home for hemp oil products. From organic hemp oil to intense concentrates, there is only one name you need to remember. The Hemp Kings.
The Hemp King.
Our Hemp Cream Pain Blaster lotions uses natural essential oils to deliver hemp's natural pain reliever directly to the site of inflammation for long-lasting relief. Now, our Pain Blaster Hemp Cream has now gone to the extreme.
Extreme?
Extreme!
Extreme!
New Pain Blaster Extreme Cream delivers even more relief, even faster! The best hemp products at the best prices delivered anywhere in the continental U.S. TheHempKings.com!
TheHempKings.com!
Green Roads World is recognized as one of the world's leading suppliers of CBD products, and Cannibiss Life Radio is giving away Green Road CBD products every week. To join, just tune in on our Facebook Live broadcast every Saturday morning at 10 and follow the instructions on air and in the comment section. Cannibiss Life Radio is teaming up with Green Roads World to give you free CBD. Good luck from Cannibiss Life Radio and Green Roads World.
Cannabis news from around Florida and around the world. This is Cannibiss Life Radio.
First radio program that I've ever done without my headphones.
Without your
Right,
headphones,
you're doing
with
great.
no music.
No
You're doing
music.
amazing.
You're like banging it out.
You're
I don't know
killing it,
how
Leon.
I'm even functioning because I'm very. It's like I'm off
you're-
kilter.
you're
Because you're a
like-
professional.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, he is a
professional.
professional.
Very
He
nice. Okay.
is a
So
professional.
listen, scromedy.
What is scromedy?
So there's this new condition.
That should be the word on Facebook for
Pretty
today.
much.
Scromedy.
I'm surprised you
Educate
didn't
me.
Google it.
I don't
Nope,
care.
we want to hear your
If
version.
I'm not going
Then
to use
we'll
it in a
Google
sentence,
later.
if I'm not going to use it in a sentence, I'm not going to
Basically,
use that.
what
And that
they're
word
saying-
sounds
well. Now
disgusting.
you're going to say it
All right, let's
because doctors in California and Colorado are saying that people are suffering from a new overdose
Oh, I heard that.
medical cannabis syndrome.
And it's called scromedy?
Well, you suffer from scromiting when you start to vomit and scream at the same time, and you cannot. Yes,
Nice.
I'm not joking.
no,
They're
you're
saying.
not. You're stopping.
I swear to
No,
God, and they've
no.
even come up with the medical term scromiting from smoking too much cannabis and using too much CBD causes you to scream uncontrollably and
Get
to
Did
they put
vomit.
CBD in that?
Yes, they
Yeah,
put CBD in there.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
I'm not joking.
Fake news people.
These people, literally fake news. That is the
Fake
The
news.
fake,
That
that's
is the
fakest
fakest
fake
news ever.
news ever.
So
That
ridiculous.
takes us into
Scromedy.
educating.
It even sounds wrong. It,
Scrom-
It just sounds wrong.
It sounds
But
pornographic,
speaking of
actually.
education and not having
After
fake
everything
news,
that's going on right now, I mean, what you got? Let's not even get into that part. I mean, there's claims all over the place at this point. You don't know
notice I'm
who's
sitting all the
next.
way over here.
You don't even know who's next
I
now.
ain't
You
coming
know, you
near
got the
you.
Lowers and you got the, whoever.
politics.
yes,
Steins
a lot of
and-
people are going back into
It's,
their work
yeah.
history looking for names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of.
Did I or didn't I? But talking about education, we when we were in Colorado, we had the opportunity to meet with Michael Bowman, who is spearheading the Hemp for Victory campaign. Arby and I, we've both been asked to join the board for that, and it's an advocacy education program with the interest of benefiting farmers. So basically, it's the 75th anniversary of Hemp for Victory, where I think it was 1942.
Yep.
1942. That's 75 years, right?
Yes.
1942. The United States government authorized people to grow hemp. They worked for 4-H clubs. They had children growing hemp for the country.
For the country.
So we're gonna reignite that. I love speaking to Michael Bowman. He actually was responsible for contributing to the Section 7606 of the Farm Bill so that we can grow hemp in this country. Basically the campaign is going to be for people to be able to purchase a hemp plant being grown wherever it can be grown legally in this country. We're looking at international locations as well. So there's going to be 2,000 hemp plants grown. Each of them sold through a sponsorship of $7. $1 of that fee will go to a hemp legal fund for issues like we're seeing in the middle of the country.
We need some of that.
So there, $1 goes to the legal fund to combat challenges and also for lobbying. $1 will go to relief efforts where farms are affected, so that we can encourage those farms to maybe look at diversifying with hemp or marijuana product. And then $5 will go directly to the farmers. So you're going to hear more about that campaign from Arby and I. We're super excited to be a part of it. And it's just consistent with all the other things that we're doing. So if you'd like to get involved, please hit us up on Facebook, and we'll be sending out information as to when those plants will be available for sale. In addition to that, there will be custom artwork that will be sold as well.
I think we're surrounded by beautiful artwork.
Are we though? Nope.
I didn't say where we're at. I didn't say where we're at. I just basically said, look at
right
the beautiful
here.
artwork. That's all I'm saying.
Easy,
I worked on it all day.
I mean, you did an amazing
Thank you,
painting
sir.
job, sir.
I'm quite an
that's
artist.
Amazing.
That's Hemp for Victory. So stay tuned. There's going to be a website. There's going to be a lot of activity surrounding that. Also want to shout out Minorities for Medical Marijuana. They in Atlanta, Georgia, there was a mixer. There's been DICE, Diversity and Cannabis Experience events all over the country. We had Art Basel last week. Art 420 had an amazing exhibit on cannabis art. A lot of people showed up and supported. And there was a DICE event associated with that as well. So I want to shout out Roz McCarthy, Minorities for Medical Marijuana, my first cannabis industry business or nonprofit to have me as their general counsel. So I want to give them credit for that. Thank you. Blessings. Thank you so much.
Round of applause.
And then we were missing the radio so much that last week
She was.
Oh
she
my God,
had these guys on. I was like ready to be like, you know what?
I'm surprised they still like me.
I'll come back.
What happened?
We'll come back in January.
What is it?
I can take the rest of the holidays off. And she's like, no, Arby, it's not happening.
We're losing our listenership.
We're losing our listeners, and it's not happening. So she made sure to get all these people on point and find the facility and get us all here even before, because they're still under construction over there, but we'll be there soon. But I mean, honestly, this place is absolutely beautiful. I don't mind being here.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything, man.
I
I'm chilling.
I love being here in our secret
All I gotta
location.
say is every time we end a season at one radio station and go to another radio station it get closer and closer to my house. So
that's not happening.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
Season, I went over and warned the people at Winn-Dixie.
I mean, we'll take the aisle where the food's at.
Yeah.
Maybe once a month or something.
Give me where the candy's at. I'm good. Give me some chocolate. I'll be straight.
Last Sunday we were on WZUP with host Balance and Father Mogul. Yeah. We actually RB went live. It's an awesome live feed where we were educating a different audience about cannabis.
You guys were on the radio without me?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was an interview. We were interviewed.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like we took over the show. We did a show. We can't do a show without you, Leon. Honestly, but we were asked to make an appearance. So we just it was South. It was South. We know how you feel about going South. So
he's gonna have to get a passport to get 305. So shout out to 305 where we're going.
Absolutely. But we had so much fun. Arby went live. You can go on the Cannabis Life page and actually watch the live feed of us, answering the questions from Balance and Father Mogul, and it's definitely a Caribbean island vibe.
Oh.
And I love being in that studio.
That studio was awesome.
It was great, right? So we love doing what we do. We love the education. It's very difficult when we have to do it without Leon, but we persevere. But
we struggle through.
If you want to see that footage, that's available. Also, we have a day in the life of Cheryl is also out there from a couple weeks ago. It's a 3-minute segment on the turkey giveaway, and you get to see me eating breakfast.
Wow.
And things like that.
I've seen that before.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, I went in. I went all the way in. Yoel had this healthy plate of couscous for breakfast or something, but it tasted good. He gave me some.
We're not talking about Colorado though.
Oh,
let me just. I got
my breakfast at Colorado.
No,
that was awesome.
We had a lot of food. We ate a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a place where we definitely ate a lot.
All right.
In 2 days, I think I ordered room service 7 times.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, okay, that's true.
So it was a lot of room service.
That is true.
But it was a day and a half, 2 days worth of work. I mean, we go in, we work, we get out.
We do work.
In and out.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of calling room service.
Okay.
It was fun. Though.
Also, our Green Roads van. Again, Stephanie Sparks, David.
The Green Heart Society.
Yes, we'll let you.
No, it's all you.
Yeah, so they were with us at the turkey giveaway. Everything that we do, they're always present. We are doing deliveries in Broward County, Miami-Dade County, as well as Palm Beach County. So we want to personalize our relationship with our customers. So if you, there's an option you can get if you order on our website or through our sales personnel, you can get deliveries directly to you, and then you can meet members of our team through the Green Heart Society, which is our Green Roads van. You can also see some footage of the Green Roads van at my A Day in the Life of Cheryl 3-minute segment.
Yeah, so that's a shout out to Stephanie Sparks, the Green Heart Society. They're also on the educational side. They've worked with Cannibiss Labs and BioTrack for Daniel Sparks. He works with BioTrack, which is THC. Seed to sale. If this ever takes off, hopefully in the next couple of years.
They also keep us safe. Seed to sale tracking is very important for public safety. It's making sure by batch number you can track if something goes wrong, something goes bad. We can do recalls if we need to. Hopefully we don't. We try to get things right the first time.
Well, we've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, there's no question. This is a business where you make a lot of mistakes, and you just got to persevere, and you got to be around the right people. And I'll continue to say this: we are surrounded by the best people in this industry that truly believe in what we're doing. And every day is a blessing to go to work. It's not always happy. There's not always good times. There's a lot of heartache, and there's a lot of hard times in our industry, and it's not always la-di-da. I mean, we went to London for 2 days, flew out there, did some work, came back in. As soon as came back in, flew out to Colorado, went to the radio station, we're bouncing everywhere, and it looks like a lot of fun a lot of times, but it's really a lot of hard work. So having good people around you is very important because it keeps you striving and it keeps you pushing forward. So definitely shout out to my partners and to you guys being back on the radio today. Yeah. Shout out to TFC. Shout out to Danny Perdek, which is the gentleman and my head of sales and the guy that leered and put our sales team together from Dylan across the board when we were in his house and Danny Perdek's house. Shout out to his mom and dad for even allowing us to start off in there. Yeah. So we've come a long way from having 60 employees. Everybody sees everything outside, but don't understand all the grind and the dirt that we had to go through and all the mud, especially in Florida, to get to where we're at today and continue on that same mission over and over and over again. So, it's going to be a lot of celebration. Absolutely. We're going to have a lot of good times as the hard time to get out of the way.
We're going back to Jamaica.
And we're going back to Jamaica. Going to Nebraska.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, I want you to get some sleep. You know why? Because I don't want you to scrum it.
He doesn't.
I don't want you to scrum it at all. I don't want you to come.
Have I done it yet?
I don't want you to come in here. It'd be very upsetting.
Cannibiss does that to you.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what Cannibiss does to you.
How much? How many hours? What do they get paid per hour to come up with that?
What idiot came up with that? What educated medical student or doctor came up with that terminology?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I'd like to reach out to
your giveaway.
Well, I mean, we're trying to. I actually closed my Facebook.
Well, you don't want to do that because you got to do your giveaway.
Jeff
Tate.
Jeff, what are we giving away in reference to for the clothing? Yeah, what are we doing here for you? Why don't you just tell
us,
let's go. We're live, buddy.
We're live. The show is on.
We're
rolling.
Tell the shirts, let them comment which one their favorite shirt is, and then I'll get them on the live stream.
All right, so there you go.
Male model, get up here.
Male model, let's go.
Male model, get up here.
Here we are.
Male model.
We've got a stream of shirts that you're gonna want. And we're giving them out for free.
This is QVC.
I don't even have one yet.
He's selling.
We're gonna get it for you. We're gonna get it for you. But first, we're gonna give it to the people, and then we're gonna give everybody.
All right, here we go.
Now we've got our first collection. We got the Terp shirt right here.
Terpy.
I don't know if you see all these guns in these shirts, but they're it's gonna give you a tight fit. It's gonna give you a tight fit around.
We spent some money on the clothing. We spent some money on the clothing.
Right now, comment if you want the Terp shirt on our live feed right now. Cheryl, come on, look hot in this girl.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Matt over at Greenwood.
Oh yes, Matt Haynes.
We got Matt real quick for these designs right here. We got the Cannibiss Life coat.
Nice.
Jonathan Rodriguez would look really good with
this. Yes, he would.
Yes,
I think he's even called.
The hair flow down.
Yes.
That's it. The hair flow down the back.
Love it.
On the back.
He's got hair down at the bottom of his ass.
Dude,
Oh, I love, and I love seeing him in front of the camera.
He had it all wrapped up. I see him
yeah.
at the airport, and it's like halfway down his back. I'm like, dude, who are you?
I love
I
Jonathan.
have a feeling I've lost control of this radio program.
Plain white,
Nice.
long man bun hair like Jonathan. We got an available comment.
Yes.
In the live chat.
He is the one on with the microphone on. So girls, or I
You
think he
see
has a
this one?
girlfriend, or he's married, or something like that.
Jonathan.
We're doing date.
Oh, okay.
We're doing
Then my bad. My bad.
And with Green Roads World.
Okay, my bad.
Cannibiss
My
Life
bad.
speed
Right now, it's
dating.
very difficult. It's very complicated relationships. We got another one. This is our Medicate shirt. Medicate. Comment if you want the Medicate shirt. Arby was wearing it.
Yep.
And then explain to them the black one.
Here, this is Leon's favorite shirt right here. This is one of the designs that Matt came up with that we will probably definitely give out to Leon. You know, because we miss him.
Yes.
And
We missed him so much.
Go ahead, give a little explanation.
Has the
for you.
Constitution of the United States on the background. Can we
It
see?
is bleeding gold.
And it's bleeding gold. Dun,
For
dun,
those
dun,
people
dun.
that don't understand, that's just a little bit of oil bleeding
Just a
down.
little oil resinage.
Because it was printed on hemp.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Awesome. So we have great giveaways today. Thank you guys. That's awesome.
All right, we're gonna.
I know I want to win.
Are we going to announce names, or you got names, or we want to do Arby's mail sack and
I
come
think
back?
Jeff's handling that.
Jeff's
I don't
handling
even
that?
know if we have time to come back. I mean,
Well, we got to do Arby's mail sack. We have
Let's
to have
do
time for Arby's mail
my
sack.
Arby's mail
sacks.
sack.
We got art,
Comment
music.
it up. Comment it up.
Do we have music for Arby's mail sack?
Dun,
You guys
dun,
hear it?
dun.
Tell me when you
Dun,
hear it.
dun, dun,
'cause I can't hear it.
dun.
I don't hear it yet until.
I think we've been musicless.
Until
I
it
mean, we're
goes-
just practicing, and I definitely can't sing with the
So
crack.
we were also at the Science of Cannabis conference at Margaritaville. That was a great event, very educational.
So professional, Cheryl. You're just like we were at Margaritaville,
That's the money
and we're
maker.
acting like clowns.
That's
and
the money
your-
maker.
the
your mail-
medication just hit. You know?
Okay,
It's
your
just
mail
like,
sack
boom.
music is playing.
right,
Okay,
it
are you
is?
ready?
Go ahead.
I can't hear it, but apparently it's playing.
I can.
Okay, Tilly from Palm Beach. Does CBD have an expiration date?
That's a really good question. Really good question. Right now, since there is FDA regulations, we can't literally submit. We have submitted to companies to see what our shelf life is on our product.
Right.
I wouldn't do anything over 6 months is pushing it. So I would say about 6 months,
6 months.
depending on what type of product. But right now we have submitted to a company that we can't name because it is still scheduled supposedly in the federal government's eyes, but we're having a shelf life test on it.
Okay. Miguel from Utah. Do you think Jesus used cannabis?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
I pray to him
No
every
doubt.
day. He tells me every day.
He does?
I smoke the bowl every morning.
And from the beginning of time.
I think that's probably true too. There's a couple of hints
Absolutely.
in the Bible. If you look online, there's probably a couple of things you can
Yes.
find out. Christine from Miami. How can I tell which CBD products will be the most effective for pain?
You really can't. And we're not recommending, and we're not doctors. What I would say is, like Cheryl says and Dr. Uma says, start slow. Really pick the product that you feel. Do the research on the company that you're actually looking at. So
Yeah.
go to Facebook, go to Google, go and read about it, find out what your symptoms are. Go to the endocannabinoid system. So if you go and you Google endocannabinoid system, which is the human body system, you'll be able to read right there what type of research has been done on whatever ailments you're trying to treat.
Right.
And
So that's-
whatiscbd.com is a great site.
Well, that's off the charts. I mean, what is CBD is whatiscbd.com is extremely educational, has a lot of videos, has a lot of information there. So that is actually a good shout out to them.
Yeah.
Whatiscbd.com, and just go in there and
There's
really.
a CBD forum, I think, that runs.
They have a forum that literally 24 hours a day, they have people responding. They're posting education.
They're trying
talking
to be
about
the one,
states.
the regulatory board or something, the people that recommend the dosages and stuff like that.
I know they have a lot of interviews with doctors coming up. I know that they're putting a lot of time and effort into the educational side,
Right.
because when you ask what is CBD, I mean, that's what you're looking for. You have more than 500 million hits on when people go and actually look for that. When we started in the business, there was only 300,000.
Yeah.
So figure that out. And now there's 500 million, and it's only like 4.5 years later. So it's been an expanding growth of information that's flowing. Good place to go to is whatiscbd.com.
Whatiscbd.com. Okay, next question for Arby's mail sack. Raul from Miami.
Raul.
Hey, Raul.
Come on, Raul.
If I smoke cannabis, does it affect other meds that I'm taking?
Should I speak that in English or in Spanish?
Spanish.
En español.
Sí.
Okay, so no.
Excellent translation, Arby.
What I would say is I would not mix your medication if you're medicating,
right,
on something, because you don't know how it's going to react. It's like drinking alcohol and taking, a Xanax. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have tried that. I have, and it didn't work very well for me.
Not good results.
Not good results. Ended up me in a place where I shouldn't be, and taught me a lesson. So that's really a doctor question.
It depends on the med. I mean, there's medications for everything. Clearly, when we went to Pain Week, there were all these booths for all these medicines that cause side effects, and then the
side effect that helps the side effect.
You get another medicine.
So it depends on what you're taking.
I mean, you take the MS Cotton, and then you got to go take something to make sure you go to the bathroom, and then you got your Narcan to make sure that if you OD, and then after that you got your Suboxone and Subutex to get you off the drugs that they recommended you in the first place.
Right.
So it's a win-win for pharma. It's all the way across the board.
All right, next question. Dominic from Maryland. Humans apparently need cannabis. Do animals need cannabis like humans do?
Absolutely. We have a sponsored chimpanzee from the Great Apes Foundation. His name's Knuckles. You can look it up.
Wait. You have a chimpanzee named Knuckles?
Yes, he was
born. That
was sponsored.
All right. I thought you had it as a pet.
Well, she has over 60 different apes and chimpanzees, and we have one that we sponsor, 17 years old, was born with cerebral palsy, didn't have enough oxygen when it was being born.
Right.
And we didn't know that. It actually was given through one of our sales representatives that was out there actually sponsored, and we didn't find out till a couple months later that it was helping. So Laura actually went out there. They actually have footage. The guys from TSC actually have footage of the difference, and it's absolutely incredible because you have people say there's a placebo effect, and there is. Absolutely. And everything that you take, there's placebo. But for the chimpanzee with the Center of Great Apes, which actually is on our Facebook right now, that Jeff Tate just posted, you can look at Knuckles there. And we sponsored them, and the difference is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, there's no placebo effect on an animal.
An animal does not know what it's taking. No. So to see it affect Knuckles the way it has, it's been absolutely amazing, glorifying, and really, it really touched Laura deeply because even with the children we help, I mean, you see it working on an animal. There's no hidden secret there. You see it working from this to where he's at today.
The animals aren't going to fake it.
They can't fake it.
You're going to get out my head, Leon.
You owe me a Coke.
Okay.
No.
Or a lemonade or a tea.
No, I have one more question.
You got one more question?
Yep. Albert. Did Leon play a Martian in Mars Attack?
Yes, 1000%. He did play the Martian.
That's rude, and I take offense to that.
But before we go, I want to show you something very interesting. Did you know that we had cameras on me at every radio station that we were on?
Yes.
The cameras pointed at this side of my head.
Right. So now you got the other side.
I started applying
Rogaine.
No. Started applying hemp oil to that giant mole.
It's lighter. It is lighter.
Wow.
It's gone. It's almost completely gone.
It's almost completely gone. Wow.
That thing was the size of a $50.
Wow.
I remember that. Actually, you could go to old video on that, and that's guaranteed.
True story.
That is true.
Now you need to put that on our website.
That is a better look for you, actually.
But it'll be a customer review on our website. Please put it on there.
Okay.
Right. Customer review how he looks.
Awesome.
How good I look.
Yeah,
how good he looks.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap things up.
Yes.
Okay.
It is our first of the third season.
First of the third.
First of the third.
Season 3, episode 1. Back together again.
Yes. Off our hiatus.
And we will hiatus, and we will be back next week.
10 to 12.
10 a.m.
Damn, man. 10 a.m.
Puff pass.
No partying on Friday.
Join us again next week on Cannabis Life Radio, brought to you by
Green
Roads World.
Enjoy your weekend, boys and girls.
Yes.
Join us next week for another edition of Cannabis Life Radio. Cannabis Life Radio has been a presentation of Green Roads World. Join us next week for another edition of